Hey there, are you a brokey that can't afford a Bugatti and you're looking to get rich? It's the age old question: does money actually buy happiness? A question that many of the great philosophers dabbled with. Whenever you've aspired to become wealthy, you were probably met with the response that money doesn't buy happiness, that trying to make money is nothing more than a shallow endeavor that brings no fulfillment in your life. In this video, I'm going to discuss whether the pursuit of money actually leads to a happier life, or is it just a man made cope designed to keep making you work your soul crushing job? In your day to day life, you may have looked at the bill you're holding and wondered, why does this piece of paper hold so much power that it controls a large part of your life? It's literally just a note, and yet it controls the entire world. But why do we even have money to begin with? Well, for most of human history, we didn't. We just bartered with whatever we needed directly without any money involved. To give an example, imagine I needed some water and you needed an eggplant because you needed to film a science project with it. We would just directly trade it. However, as society grew more complex, it was harder to find someone who was offering the thing you wanted, and at the same time, hard for someone else to accept the thing you were offering. Economists call it the coincidence of wants. So our big brain, GigaChad Mogger ancestors came up with an idea to create a universal item that everyone wants to exchange with other commodities. And currency was born. The transition to currency was obviously more complex than that, but in essence, that's ultimately what happened. I know I sound like your high school teacher, and I know that you're figuring out why learning about the science of economics is even necessary, but it's useful to know the history of money in order to know how useful it will be in your daily life. Money can pretty much buy most things that people want: a house, a car, food, and even your health. Money is the pivot that controls how stable your life is, which is why I believe that money does indeed buy happiness. It may not always be the antidote to your sadness, but it certainly brings a lot of relief into your life, especially the things that most people worry about. I mean, money is also an important foundation for any long-term relationship. If you wanted to raise a family, you need to have the bag to raise children in a stable environment. If you're tired of living in the same place where it constantly rains and sunlight is a foreign concept, you can travel to a different part of the world. But for that, you need money. If you're tired of eating foods like ramen and boiled rice every night like a broke university student, and you want to eat high quality foods instead so you can build an aesthetic V-tape or body so you can attract some baddies, then you need money. Even your own health is dependent on how much money you earn, because if you didn't realize, getting consistent quality healthcare comes from having money. In every way possible, money can benefit your life. So why then do so many people try to deny the obvious link between your wealth and your overall well-being in life? One of the reasons that people try to deny money's effect on well-being is that it's just a massive coping mechanism. You see that most people don't earn the ideal amount of money. And when they see someone on Instagram, let's say a young dashing millionaire on a yacht, it's hard to not get envious. So because of how hard and seemingly unrealistic it is to get that life, a lot of people just put their head in the sand and pretend the obvious isn't true. Because by admitting that money creates happiness, they have to accept that the life they currently live is not as great as they would like it to be, which sucks to admit. The surprising aspect of this topic is there are quite a few wealthy people that convey how the journey to money is futile and how it brings no sense of fulfillment. People who support the money doesn't buy happiness motto often point to other rich people who are miserable, depressed, and delete themselves as an evidence that money is meaningless. However, that is somewhat of a logical fallacy. A lot of rich, miserable people often have factors outside of money that influence their depression, such as loneliness, a feeling of meaninglessness, or genetic predispositions to feeling sad. These are experiences that even normal people feel, so it can't be solely tied to the amount of income someone has, as it being the primary cause of these negative feelings. The truth is, anything in life you desire, which you eventually obtain, will feel like it has no impact on your happiness. Remember when you thought getting a PlayStation 2 was going to change your life? You got it, and for a few weeks you experienced that happiness, but now that PlayStation is collecting dust. Or when you had a massive crush on that girl and you thought getting her was going to remove all your problems, and then you finally get her and you feel like you aren't as happy as you thought you would be. This is the truth for pretty much most things in life. As your mind constantly gets accustomed to the new heights of happiness, you reach and that becomes then your new normal. However, that doesn't mean that those things don't have an impact on your net happiness. It just means you take it for granted. Just like how most people take their time and money for granted. All of what I said applies to money. It's not that money doesn't make these celebrities happy, but rather they have become so accustomed to it that they end up appreciating what they have. Look, I'm not saying money is the end-all be-all of life. The love of those of your family and friends are obviously extremely important, alongside finding purposeful and meaningful activities that mean a lot to you in your life and ultimately achieving self-actualization. I'm not convincing you to be a shallow, materialistic person who just chases money for the sake of it. I'm telling this for you to be aware, so that in the future you don't regret not making the right choices and being stuck in debt slavery or having no way to make ends meet. Ultimately, this is for you to understand how the world works and how making money should be a priority in your life, so you can finally have the life that you've always wanted.